And Jesus, as we come to the text, he leaves the 99. He leaves the huge crowd of people. His popularity is going through the roof. Sometimes we think that when Jesus preached, it was like 3 people. We don't realize that Jesus had massive crowds. Jesus was filling stadiums before there were those types of meetings. And you hear people all the time hating on big churches. Oh, mega churches. Oh, this and that, other thing. Jesus had mega churches. Jesus had crowds that were so big that he could not walk when he preached. Matter of fact, they were pushing on him so much that he had to get up out of the shoreline, and they would wait for him when he came off of the boat. It was almost like, here's Jesus. And there was a mob scene when Jesus preached. But his popularity is growing. And the Pharisees see all this. Now, most people would lean into the fame. Most people would be like, man, I got to stay right here. This is where things are going. Jesus leaves all that, and he goes over to a place called Samaria. Now, there are 2 themes that are working. One version says, by the way, he had to go through Samaria. And there are 2 themes that are working here. First of all, there is a racial theme that is working here, because Jews and Samaritans hate one another. Jews and Samaritans don't talk to one another. Matter of fact, a Jew would never go from, for instance, Galilee to Judea by going through Samaria, even though it was the quickest way to get there. A Jew would go all the way out of their way not to step foot on Samaritan soil. And so there was this racism that existed even in Jesus' time. And it was the most rank kind. It was an evil that plagued humanity then, that still plagues humanity now. And so when Jesus announces to his disciples who are not yet fully mature, right? Jesus' disciples hate the Samaritans just like Jesus' undisciples do. Because how many of you know that just because you're a disciple of Christ doesn't mean that you've got everything perfected yet, doesn't mean that you're mature in Christ yet. So Jesus makes this announcement to his not yet fully mature disciples. He said, I need to go through Samaria. And I could picture them in my mind's eye looking at Jesus going, so what? Where are we going? Well, no, Jesus. We don't walk through Samaria. I mean, they're dogs. That's actually what they called them. They're half-breeds. They're not of a, we don't associate with them. And so on, there is this one level that's not so obvious in the story where Jesus is dealing with this racism that existed in his day. And in essence, what Jesus is saying is the thing that you want to walk around, I'm going right for. The thing that you just want to skirt around, the thing that you want to pretend doesn't exist and doesn't happen, he said, I got to deal with this thing. I'm going through Samaria. And Jesus, in essence, making a statement. If you want me to make a choice here, if you want to pick which people are better, which people are, he said, you don't understand. I created everybody the way they are because I love diversity. And it doesn't matter to me what somebody looks like on the outside. What matters to me is the condition of their heart. And so Jesus has got to go through Samaria. But not just for that reason, but he's got to go through Samaria because there's a cast sheep there. There's somebody who is tired on the inside.